Our mom then began serving the chicken, and we liked it as we were eating. Then it was Dr. Marcassius's time to shine. Mom, can I ask you a question? Dr. Marcassius asked. You just did, but to answer it, yes and always, said her mom back. What is your blood type? Dr. Marcassius asked. Oh, negative. And your father is B positive, and you three are all B positives, her mom answered. Okay, said Dr. Marcassius. Why do you ask? Her mom asked. Just because I was thinking about it, Dr. Marcassius asked. Okay, just it seems to me like your brother Sam would be the one to ask that, said her mom. Yeah, I know that. Why didn't you ask me? I asked to lie to cover it up as much as possible. Though the thought never really crossed my mind, to be honest. I feel like an idiot now that I didn't ask you, said Dr. Marcassius. It is okay, we are all idiots sometimes, said George, to make a joke that none of us found to be funny. We then went to a room after dinner for a quick and quiet discussion. Let's go to the pool alone to discuss the progress we've made today, whispered Dr. Marcassius. George and I nodded. Hey, Mom and Dad, were you going to the pool alone? Said Dr. Marcassius, outside of the door. Why can't we come? Asked Dad. Because I had a rough day at school, and I would want to discuss it with Sam and George. Alone, lied Dr. Marcassius. Okay, said Dad. Dr. Marcassius then shut the door to Robbinsog. What flavor candy cigar would you like? Dr. Marcassius asked. Cinnamon, I answered. Butterscotch, George answered. I personally am in the mood for good old classic peppermint, said Dr. Marcassius. We then changed into our swimsuits and left Robbinsog and went to the elevator to catch the ride up to the 20th floor, and once the elevator door was shut, we were on our way to the 20th floor, or silence was broken. You are the best liar in the world for what happened at dinner tonight, said Dr. Marcassius. Thank you, I said. You're welcome, said Dr. Marcassius, putting out his hand. I then high-fived Dr. Marcassius. Soon after we arrived on the 20th floor, we were in the pool room. No one was in there other than us. Before you tell me you will go to the pool and you hang out, can you hang out with me in the hot tub first? Asked Dr. Marcassius. What for? I asked. We need to discuss today, said Dr. Marcassius. Should we do that, Garfield Pork? George asked. No, Garfield Pork is for longer things. This won't take long, said Dr. Marcassius. Okay, said George. We then all three got into the hot tub and began enjoying our candy cigars. So, what do you want to talk about? I asked. We now have absolute proof that is Mom's blood that stained the carpet, said Dr. Marcassius. Now we just have to test my theory about how we are going to be able to figure out her spine. That is what caused this meeting, I said. That is right. And what I want to do for us is brainstorm on how to conduct the tests, said Dr. Marcassius. Then here is the wrong place to do it, I said. Excuse me, Dr. Marcassius asked. I have an idea, I just can't do it in here, I said. What is it? I am open to it, Dr. Marcassius asked. You're going to need me to come up with some time, as I need to come up with time for my unit on the spinal cord in my anatomy class to end first, I said. That may or may not be okay, but what is it? Dr. Marcassius asked me again. when I'm done with the unit in my anatomy class about the spinal cord, you are going to take me to Garfield Park, and I will tell you everything I know about it, I said. Uh, and you can't tell me little by little because, Dr. Morcassius asked. Because I want to know more, I answered. How much more, said Dr. Morcassius. As much as possible, I answered. How much time until the end of your unit, Dr. Morcassius asked. The test is next Friday, I answered. And again, you can't tell me little by little because, asked Dr. Morcassius. Because I want to learn more about spinal diseases and what can cause mobility issues, so I know exactly what's going on, I answered a lot more specifically this time. Okay, I can approve of all this as long as that is all you are doing when I am studying in the library to find a cure for autism, because I am still working on that, and I unfortunately mentally can't tear myself away from that at this time, even with us trying to save Mom's life, said Dr. Morcassius in a firm tone. What about trying to solve those riddles given to us by the return, George asked. Yeah, we will need to work on that too, said Dr. Morcassius. You're right. We still can't solve them for the life of us, I said. It looks like we have a lot more to work on, said Dr. Morcassius. Leave anything that involves the investigation of Mom's spinal cord between now and next Friday up to me, I said. You sure you want it all, Dr. Morcassius asked. You were the one that wanted to study it as much as possible and wants to interview everything, I reminded. Oh, yeah, said Dr. Morcassius. Let's all work on solving those riddles together, said George. Right on, Georgie, said Dr. Morcassius. After that, we finished our candy cigars, and then we went into the pool for the next little bit for fun, and then we went back into Robbinsog and walked in on our parents, snuggled up on the couch, watching a movie. Did you have a good time, or Mom asked? Yes, we all did, I said. Next time we are coming with you, no matter what, said our Mom. Fine, said Dr. Morcassius. What movie are you watching, George asked. A movie for grown-ups, said our Dad. Oh, okay, we're going to a room now. We then went out of the room and changed into our PJs and brushed our teeth and then laid on our bed. What a week, I said. We still have 1 day left, said Dr. Morcassius. We also going to need to work a lot over the weekend, said George. True, said Dr. Morcassius. Just wondering, how often do you study in the library over the weekend? I asked Dr. Morcassius in a whispering tone. 3 hours, 1 to 4. Dr. Morcassius answered in a whispering tone. Weekdays? I asked again, whispering. 7 to 9. 2 days a week of my choice, Dr. Morcassius answered again, whispering. Okay, I answered, knowing that I was in for a lot of reading. When you are done, if you never step foot in that library again, that's okay. Except I would appreciate it if you do it for as long as we need to for trying to save Mom, said Dr. Morcassius, whispering but in a joking way. We then all laughed, but in an exaggerated joke. Okay, I said when you were done laughing in a comedic way. That made us laugh even more. If I knew we were going to call this before bed, if I knew we were going to talk about this before bedtime in a room, because we had to whisper, I would have made us stay at the pool longer. So Dr. Morcassius, also in a joking way, though he was right. We then all laughed again. And for some funny reason, our funny bones seemed extra ticklish tonight. After we laughed the third time, our Mom opened the door. What's going on in here? I hear a lot of laughing, our Mom asked when she opened the door. Just laughing about funny things, Georgia said. What What are those things, Mom asked. That's not important, Dr. Morcassius answered. Why, Mom asked. Just because it isn't really, Dr. Morcassius answered. Okay, said our mom, just like that. There was a pause, and then she continued. Do you all have your homework done? Or Mom asked. I do, said Dr. Morcassius. I didn't get any, said George. I got mine done for the day, but I have a lot to do between now and next Friday. That is going to require me to spend a lot of time in the library between now and then, I said, nodding slightly and quickly to Dr. Morcassius. Yep, he is working on a project with me regarding autism that will require him to go to the library with me and stay the whole time while I am there. So Dr. Morcassius, in a way where he knew my life was going to be okay, because we all knew what I am doing is just letting my parents know I'm going to be gone. Okay, I'll let your father know, said our mom. Also, Mom, you know how I like keeping my projects personal and confidential, Dr. Morcassius asked. Yes, our mom answered. Well, just a fair warning. I usually say it is none of your business most of the time, but this time, if you ask me, I will get angry and give you a hard time about it, Dr. Morcassius warned. Good to know, and thank you for your honesty, said our mom. I know you asked just to be goofy, but this time, and I responded in an appropriate manner to be goofy, but this time, no, said Dr. Morcassius. And make sure you tell Dad, too, I said. Will do, said our mom. Our mom then kissed us goodnight and then shut the door. After she shut the door, we turned on the light and gathered in the center of the room and put all three of her hands out in the center together. Best liars ever. Woo! We yelled. And then we turned out the light and went to bed for the night, and I got a pretty good sleep despite all the reading I have ahead of me between now and next Friday, so I can present to Dr. Morcassius for us to get ideas.